Hello and hey, today we're messing around with Baldur's Gate 3. So you want to be a monk. You know those are usually celibate, right? 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 Let's dive in. Monks are disciplined practitioners of martial arts with a focus on the study of the magical energy that flows through living bodies called ki. Harnessing this power, they create magical effects and exceed their body's physical capabilities on a quest to personal perfection. And they can do stuff like this. Yay! In the past couple of videos, I gave full overviews of each feature and subclass feature. Honestly, a wiki page with links to anything you have an interest in is a better format for that sort of information. And with how long the unskippable level up animation is, the amount of time I spent gathering the relevant footage for my summoning and warlock videos, yeesh. I think that time is much better spent testing the builds I want to eventually showcase, so if there is something I do not mention because I'm not using it for this build, say the Way of Four Elements features, many apologies. I will still be showing what I actually use, however, so I'm not fully throwing in the towel. Now let's really dive in. For this video, I will be focusing on a strength-based monk. Don't have anything against the normal dex-based options. We just get some very interesting choices in Baldur's Gate 3. And prior to launch, I talked about wanting to do an all-strength-based, all-martial class party. The Martial Marshals, just for the pure beefcake of it all. Popping into the character creator, you gotta make sure you're jacked and handsome. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. But with the change to racial bonuses, it matters a lot less which you choose. Githyanki is a solid choice. Normal movement speed combined with medium armor proficiency. The jump spell to do the stuff you saw me a little earlier. Hold up. Medium armor?
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Look, I don't know how many ability points you're getting to spend at level 1, but we have to make some compromises somewhere. So while we absolutely can dip our toes into the unarmored waters for the first 3 levels, if we're going to embrace being a gym bro, the alternative is walking around with a literal 13 AC for the entire time. Which if you're down, I'm down. Kinda makes the only things assured in life death, taxes, and I need healing. So if you respec from a later level in the game or are not planning to respec at all, your distribution would be something like 17 strength, 10 dex, 14 con, 8 int, 16 wisdom, and 8 charisma. Though if you do have an eye for changing your builds around a lot, dumping strength early is also fine, as we don't need it for our build until level 4. A standard 10 strength, 16 dex, 14 con, 8 int, 16 wisdom, and 8 charisma, or any other slight variation of that, will do. But looking at what the build will ultimately have, we want the odd number in strength, as we'll be grabbing an extremely powerful half feat, and it's not like we don't want dex, we just value other stats more. You can flip it with the 16 in wisdom if you don't care for the key save DC. That will give you a higher initiative, dex save, and armor class if you did choose to throw on light or medium armor, so it's a little bit conditional. Just adjust to how you're playing. HP is always important, but if you wanted to dump con down to a 12 or heavens forbid a 10, technically you could get a lot more out of your AC at the cost of 12 or 24 hit points on a D8 character, so not super recommended. Int is just about everybody's dump stat, just everybody's dumb. Wisdom, as we said, helps our key save, difficulty class, and our armor class, if you are unarmored, that is. And again, charisma becomes another dump stat. Hope you weren't planning on being the face. I understand people will disagree on the secondary stats, so feel free to discuss in the comments. There are lots of very reasonable mixing of stats here. At level 3, we get to choose our order. We'll be foregoing the last airbender and ninja to go the way of the open hand. I'm going to assume that's the diplomatic way of saying we're going to pimp slap. Thematically, I feel a strength-based monk feels best here, being able to overpower enemies, dropping them prone or pushing them 15 feet, 4.5 meters back, hitting them so hard that they can't even respond until after you walk away. But mechanically, the 6th level features it gets are crazy strong as well. Guess you'll just have to wait a second to hear about those. Such a tease. At level 4, our legitimate business has led us into settling disputes in drinking establishments. Perhaps we were a bouncer before leaving to join our order, and now that we're back, we've found we can apply our skills even more ferociously. We'll be taking the Tavern Brawler feat, letting us double our strength bonus to both the damage and attack rolls of unarmed strike. Did you even hear me? The attack rolls too. So when we bump our strength to 18 at the same time, we are going from a +5 to hit at level 3 to a +10 to hit at level 4. And we're now the most accurate attacker in the game, barring your 18 dex archery fighting style companion that has a +2 bow already. No one cares, Gary! Back to it, level 5 we get an extra attack, letting us throw big combinations and unlocking Stunning Strike, which is the best way to absolutely zero out your key pool for no effect. Of course I'm being facetious, but assuming you did leave Wisdom at 16, that's only a DC 14 con save, which even in BG3 seems like a lot of enemies are pretty decent at. It's amazing if it lands, but eats into your pool of ki that a lot of the time will be better served by Flurry of Blows, potentially still giving advantage to a teammate through the dex save of toppling them prone if the turn order is also in the favor. I am by no means condemning Stunning Strike, just use it knowing it's going to not have the intended effect a lot of the time, unless you examine the enemy and see they're pretty bad at the save. Super powerful when it does, you get me, I'm just talking in circles. Level 6, we get Wholeness of Body, which is a great heal that scales with level, restores some ki points, and gives us an additional bonus action for 3 turns. It costs an action, but enables you to Flurry of Blows to keep the same amount of attacks flying out in that round you use it, and an additional bonus action to use whatever you want at the next 2. Such an amazing ability. Also at 6th level, our unarmed strikes now count as magical for the purposes of overcoming non-magical resistance, and we also get to add 1d4 plus our wisdom modifier of radiant, necrotic, or psychic to all of our unarmed attacks, toggleable at any time, making us even more of a monster at consistent damage output. At this level, if we are successful on any given attack with our now plus 11 to hit, there is a minimum damage of 13, which assumes 1 on the damage dice, and average rolls of about 17 damage per hit. We can hit 4 times on a normal turn, 6 on the 2 turns that Wholeness of Body allows, and it'll only go up. It's not bad for a class that's not regarded as too special. At level 7, we get Evasion and are unable to be charmed or frightened. With our lesser than normal dex save, this is a nice start to avoiding some or all of the AoE damage that can pile up alongside our pitiful armor class. Definitely can be the difference in staying perpendicular to the ground. Level 8, we're going to boost our strength to 20, get just so much out of that. That's an extra 2 guaranteed damage on hits, and 2 more to our attack rolls, meaning we're sitting at a frosty plus 13 to hit. You're going to be landing an overwhelming majority of your attacks, and that just feels good. You're not getting the triple digit, oh my god, mom, get the camera! Smite crits, but the consistency is awesome and not to be underrated. And despite the really cool psionic resonance we would get at level 9, I'd suggest looking at multi-classing. We're looking to pick up at least 3 levels of Rogue for Thief and that additional bonus action, and potentially a level in another class to get armor proficiencies and whatever else a 1-level dip can bring. Or 4th level Rogue for the ASI, or back to Monk for the 9th level ability. You have options, let me explore. Unfortunately, you will not get Sneak Attack on your unarmed strikes as they require a weapon, so the Rogue levels aren't that impactful till you have all 3 of them required for Thief. The expertise is nice, can allow us to become an even more oppressive shoving force, but not much we're really getting until that bonus action, and potentially feat if we do take a 4th level. Where, since we're already 20 strength with the best feat for us, there certainly are options. We can take the athlete feat to jump even further for the meme of it, and just any feat that you enjoy, or bump wisdom to 18 for the AC/DC increase. I kind of like a level in Fighter Respect to be the first level, letting us at a cost of a lot of movement, to be totally clear, where heavy armor, a shield, the defense fighting style, and a second wind. That's a 21 AC without having anything special at that level, 23 with a +1 armor and +1 shield. Just an immovable force that can still get around the battlefield, 4 attacks around even when our ki pool is completely exhausted. It's +14 to hit, an average of 19 damage when we do. It's well over 100 damage around while with Flurry of Blows, and with our 2 special rounds of Wholeness of Body being 8 attacks, that's 152 average damage if all hit. So it has some burst, definitely has the sustain, and with the fighter dip would be super hard to hit. Honorable mention for Barbarian is that we can rage. We don't get the bonus damage because we're not making weapon attacks, but we'd take half damage, so if we have terrible AC, it's just a, you get me, we're here. The only real drawbacks for this, if we're looking for some, I guess it's a touch selfish on utility, because other than jumping to hard to reach places and being a pack mule, which has its own plays, they don't super help the team, until a stunning strike lands at a key moment. But for a martial that is meant to just bring both the noise and the funk during combat, it does a really, really good job. It's simple, it's effective, you can punch and kick people in full armor, potentially without wearing any clothes yourself, just become the ultimate Florida man, really. And who doesn't want that? Well, me. Anyway, hope to catch you in the next one. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Be safe, guys.